Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be doing a review of the Skyzone SKY02C goggles. Just real quick before we get into it, let's go over what all they come with. You get a little English and Chinese manual, which actually isn't too bad here. Just goes over all the functions of the buttons. You do get this sort of leather plush faceplate here. As you can see, I am using the other option that you get with the foam one here, but it is nice to give you the two versions. You get a power cable that has an XT60 input and then a right angle barrel at the end. Pretty nice length to be able to put a battery in your pocket, which is nice. And these do take up to 6S input. I don't know if I want to power a 6S on this because it's like a $300 goggle. Just risking it, but it's definitely fine direct on 4S and 5S. I just normally run a 3S in my pocket anyways, but it's nice you get that. And you also get this box with two little whip antennas, pretty much useless, but they will get you in the air if it's the only thing you have. Then you also get a head tracking cable and a VGA output there. I wish there was a straight AV cable included for something like a Clearview. Also, you do get this little carrying case, which is pretty nice. It fits directly in there. It's very roomy, actually. And it's definitely bigger than the Aomway one, but you can definitely fit your antennas in here and then close that up, and then you have all that room as well. It's not the smallest goggle case ever, but it is still the nice form factor that you can slide it into your bag. It's not a giant box like the V1S Commanders came with, so I definitely appreciate this. And it's a nice quality case overall, definitely will protect your goggles. So speaking of the goggles, you can see the overall design is pretty nice. And just real quick, let's mention this camera here. This is actually the Skyzone SKY02C. The non-camera version. I'm not sure why mine actually, I don't know if you can see it in there. There actually is a camera lens in there. My camera won't bring it up because of the lighting. But there's a little tiny camera in there, which is the O2X version. And I've seen pictures of the O2C where it's just not in this mold at all. So I'm not really sure because it's definitely the O2C version. It was all over the goggles. There was a sticker over here. There was on the box at O2C, and trying to access the camera does not work, and there's no mention of it in the manual either, so I'm not really sure what version this is I have. Might be a earlier one before where they just use software to disable the camera rather than actually removing it. I'm not quite sure. Moving along the goggles, up front you can see we have a track button if you want to use the head tracker. I don't think this version has it. I don't know anyone who ever uses that. We have our banded channel here. Record and changing our modes for AVN 43169 or HDMI, and then here's a channel search. Very nice. We do obviously have built-in receivers, diversity here. Up top is our fan with a little Batman metal heatsink there. On the bottom we have the tracker port. Here's the HDMI, USB, AV in, AV out. It's quite interesting. They actually do have an AV out. A headphone jack and an SD card. Well, actually, so there's definitely a lot going on over here. And then in the center we do have our standard IPG adjustments. Looking in the goggles, pretty standard here. You can see we have the lenses that move there. And here's these inserts that you can remove and add diopters if you want. The strap that it comes with is adjustable on one side. Does not include a over-the-head strap, but this is the kind that I prefer. And it's a nice material. I have no problems with that. So if you've been following me for a while, you probably know that the Aomway Commanders, the V1, this is actually V1S, these have been my main goggles since I've switched from box goggles. This has been my favorite for a year, almost 2 years now. And originally I was pretty happy with them, but recently I've started to notice some of the downfalls of them. It's just changing through the channels and bands is pretty annoying. I have problems with the goggles just shutting off if I just like touch the power, so I have to be careful with that. Turning on the DVR takes forever, and just overall they could definitely be improved. So when I saw these ones come out, I was really excited to try them. So let's just go ahead and start rolling some of the footage in the upper right hand corner. Starting off, I was just using, one of the main problems with the Aomways that I had was if I just recorded with the DVR, just with the internal receivers here, the video when I looked at it was perfectly fine. However, in the DVR playback there'd be all kinds of white flashing and screen jittering that was just not there when I saw it. So to get any decent DVR from the goggles, I had to use my Clearview. Even though the video I was seeing when I was using internal looked fine, the DVR just recorded very poorly. So something I was very happy with when I originally tried these was that the DVR from the straight up internal receivers here looks perfectly fine, and it's pretty accurate to what I was seeing. Just a little bit of breakup, but no major white flashing like the Aomway DVR. In terms of range, if you can see here, I do go out a little bit. It's about a quarter mile down to the lake there. Absolutely no problems. 99 crossfire RSSI there and 25 milliwatts. but just no problems with the range. I was just running a 8 dBi patch and an Omni on, I believe it was 25 milliwatts. Now here is some DVR from a race. We actually held the global qualifier just this past weekend. So this first clip is using the internal receivers on the goggles. I think I was using 2 Omnis at the time, just right hand. Obviously on 25 milliwatts for racing. I was just flying it around here. It is worth noting the saturation and mainly the contrast, I would say, compared to the Aomways. Just looking at the image, it was definitely darker with a lot more contrast overall. It did seem a little bit higher quality when I was flying, like the screen seemed nicer. And comparing 2 recordings from the Aomway and the Skyzone frame by frame in full screen, I could definitely tell it did record a little bit differently. It has extra contrast and it actually seemed like the 4:3 ratio was a little bit different. Almost like when you compare 16:9 to 16:10, it was just slightly different. But the DVR still does record in 4:3. I personally fly 4:3 cameras and then I fly stretch to 16:9 in the goggles. Which is a big thing for me. If the goggle doesn't do 16:9, I'm not really that interested in it. It's just what I'm used to. It is nice that these ones do 16:9 and 4:3 letterboxing. You can just switch through in the modes. And then here is a clip where I was using the Clearview plugged into the AV in port here. Worked perfectly fine. Obviously, Clearview is pretty much the best, absolute best video you can have with the ground station there. So that worked perfectly fine. Coming back to the goggles, one thing I did forget to mention actually is there's an on-off switch over here. So that's something Fat Shark does not have. That is very nice. When you plug it in, you just press and hold it for a second, it'll turn on. And then if at any time you want to turn the fan on or off, just press it real quick and you can hear it start up. You definitely can hear the fan, but it's not too loud. So one thing that I really liked about the goggles was the menus inside of them. So to change band and channels, you just click band and channel. Changing band, just as easy as that. Changing channel, as easy as that. On the commanders here, one of the big problems is you have a channel and band shared on one button here. So if I want to change channels, I can just click through, but if I want to change bands, I have to cycle through, press and hold for 2 seconds each time, and it just takes forever. And if you want to scan, you have to press for like 4 seconds to hold that. As you can see over here, there is a separate search button, which is really nice. Just the overall menu was just fantastic, way better than the Aomways. In terms of DVR recording, on the Aomways, to start the DVR, when you power up, you have to wait a couple seconds, the DVR will come on, and then it'll turn off. And if it doesn't do that, you have to reboot this goggles because something went wrong. But to get it started, you have to press and hold till you see the DVR pop up, and then you press it again, it'll start flashing, and it blinks the whole time on the screen, and then you press it again to stop it. If it doesn't always stop, the buttons just sometimes don't work, I'm not sure. But with the Skyzones, it was extremely nice. When you press record, it brings up a little menu on the top that tells you your SD card, how much capacity is left, so that's really nice. You can tell if you're getting low. And then when you press it, it'll go red and start recording. And then after about 2 seconds, the menu completely disappears, so you don't have to worry about that while flying. Press record again, it'll bring the menu back up. It won't stop it, it'll just bring it back up. So if you want to see how long you've been recording for, you can do that. Press record again, and it will stop. Absolutely no issues, just real quick tapping, no problems with the buttons. Like the Aomway, sometimes it just does not stop or start. Really nice. And that menu that pops up also shows you your band and channel. So far, everything I've said about these Skyzones have been really good, but to get to the one downside, which is why I just cannot use these goggles, it's just they don't fit on my face. If you look at the center part here, there's not really much of a nose cut out. It's cut in here, but there's no like angled section. If you look at the Aomways, you can see they have a really big cutout here. You can see my finger fits in at an angle there, and I had a problem with them not really fitting at the edges, which is why you can see I'm using the thickest foam they offer, because there was a little bit of light leak. But with this way I have it set up now, it fits very comfortable on my face. They are extremely light. My nose doesn't hit anything, and I have very little light leak. With these, it fits on my face, just my nose. I do have a somewhat large nose, however, I let a couple other people try these at our race field, and they didn't fit either, which is just something that I'm really disappointed about. My nose just sits here. I cannot get them low enough onto my face to get the screens to line up, and if I do kind of position them awkwardly, it's really uncomfortable, puts a lot of pressure on my nose, and then I have a ton of light leak around the bottom and the sides. So it's just really, they were so close. I absolutely love these goggles in terms of the interface, just everything about them. They don't fit my face, which is why I'm not really sure if I can recommend them, considering I had 3 other people try them and they didn't fit anybody's face. I've seen a couple of reviews on these and I haven't heard any of these issues, so I'm not sure. But I do say if you are looking at getting these goggles, I would highly recommend, if possible, if somebody has them or other Skyzones, to be able to try them out just to make sure they're going to fit you before you purchase them. Oh yeah, and one other negative thing about the goggles is for the SD card slot. It's underneath here, so it's a little bit harder to reach. You kind of have to take the goggles off to get up under there, as well as it's very, very recessed. You have to really push in there. I almost have to use like a flathead screwdriver to get it to go in and out, whereas on the Commanders, it's on top here, so I can easily get it, just, you know, it's just right there. As well as because of the dent they have in here, you can very easily just press it and get it to come out with your finger with no trouble. Like, if I could take the internals of this Skyzone and put it in this Aomwe shell, I would be so happy. The only thing that would be missing is a module bay. I am looking for a module bay. The internal RF works perfectly fine, but I would like to run a TBS Fusion or a Clearview module in here. For the price included, I think it's a very good value. I think these V1S are still on sale for about $240. And these Skyzones are about anywhere from $270, I've seen, all the way up to $350 on Banggood. It really depends on which warehouse and what kind of flash sale you can get. And one quick note, these also do include low bands, so if you're interested in that, even though it's technically not legal, it's definitely not legal, not even technically, just letting you know that they do include it. So that's pretty much going to do it for the video. So close by Skyzone. They just, I need to find something exactly like this with a module bay that fits my face, and I will be set for life. I would be so incredibly happy. Hopefully the new Sky03, I'm not sure what it is. It's a new 430 LED screen version. Hopefully that has a modified outer case here for the nose slot if I do try those out. Otherwise, they will not fit me. So yep, that's going to do it for the video. There'll be a link down in the description below to these goggles if you're interested, as well as to the V1S, which are still my current goggles here. I moved on from the V1 just because these are newer and I feel like they have a less chance of failing since I've been using the V1 for so long. But either goggle is perfectly fine. So yep, that's it. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.